7 years, 7 whole years, and still nothing.
Sarah, you're doing it again.
Doing what?
Sitting in the dark, alone, letting these thoughts eat you alive. Our neighbor, she had her baby today.
Her third, David, her third, and I can't even give you one.
We are not giving up.
I'm just tired of hoping.
I've got you.
But who do we have, David? Who do we have?
Every house has a sound. Some houses echo with laughter, with tiny feet running down hallways, with the glorious, exhausting, beautiful chaos of children. But this house had silence. Not the peaceful kind, not the silence of a Sunday morning or a deep, satisfied sleep. This was the silence that lives between two people who have been grieving the same loss for so long they've almost stopped talking about it. The silence where a child was supposed to be. Sarah and David had been married for 7 years.
Since we were all
7
together
years
like
of
this.
love, 7 years of trying, 7 years of doctor's appointments and test results and prayers whispered into darkness at 3 in the morning, and 7 years of the world asking, without mercy, when are the children coming? As if they weren't already asking themselves that question every single day. As if it didn't cost them something every time they had to smile and say, soon we hope. As if hope were free. Their friends were having babies. Their family was having babies. Their neighbor, the one whose window Sarah could see from the kitchen every morning, had just had her third child. And Sarah sat in her quiet house, holding cold tea, and stared at a photograph on the wall. Just her and David, smiling, happy, and the empty space beside them that neither of them could stop seeing. I'm not giving up. I'm just tired of hoping. Those words. David had heard variations of them before, fragments, whispers, but never quite like that. Never with that particular exhaustion underneath. The kind that doesn't come from one bad day. The kind that comes from 1,000 of them, stacked quietly, one on top of the other, over 7 long years. He held her in that silence and made her a silent promise that he would find a way, that their house would not always be this quiet, that somewhere out there, their child was waiting. He was right, their child was waiting, but not in the way either of them imagined. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful couple named Sarah and David. They had been married for 7 years, 7 beautiful, painful, complicated years. To the outside world, they had everything. A lovely home, successful careers, and the kind of love that made people smile when they watched them work together. But behind closed doors, there was an ache neither of them could name out loud.
Another Sunday dinner with your family this weekend. Are you ready?
I'll never be ready. They're going to ask again, David. They always ask.
Then we'll do what we always do. We smile, we hold hands, and we come home to each other.
Okay, I will try.
But smiling was getting harder. The questions came from everywhere. Aunts, uncles, colleagues, even strangers. When are you having children? As if they hadn't been trying. As if it hadn't cost them tears, doctor's visits, prayers whispered at 3 a.m. into pillows soaked with grief. The doctors had given them a clinical answer. The kind that uses words like unlikely and complications. The kind that closes a door so quietly you almost don't hear it shut. But Sarah and David refused to stop hoping.
I've been thinking, what if we adopt?
And we love that child the way we've always wanted to love, completely.
Her name was Mia, 6 years old. A smile so wide it seemed to belong to someone twice her age. She had been born with a physical disability. Her legs didn't walk the way most children's did, and she had spent the better part of her short life in an adoption agency, waiting, always waiting. But the moment Sarah and David walked into that room, something shifted.
Are you here to be my family?
We're trying to be. Would that be okay with you?
I've been practicing the good daughter. I can show you.
Sarah laughs, a broken, beautiful laugh, and reaches out to touch Mia's cheek. They took her home that same week. Life with Mia was magic. She was placed in the best school in the district with a personal aide to help her navigate every day. She was read bedtime stories every night, always 2, sometimes 3, because she always wanted just one more. Her birthdays were celebrated with balloons and cakes she picked herself. They took her to the park on weekends, pushed her wheelchair through autumn leaves while she stretched her arms out like she was flying. And Mia believed it because they made her believe it. For the first time in her small life, she felt safe. She felt loved. She felt like she belonged somewhere. She had no idea how quickly all of that could disappear.
Nobody was more surprised than Sarah. After 7 years of trying and failing, after being told it was unlikely, after all of that, a single positive pregnancy test changed everything.
David, I'm pregnant.
We're going to have a baby. We're actually going to have a baby. I'm so excited. This is the best news.
I know, I'm so happy.
Me too. I love you.
The whole house erupted with joy. Mia was told first.
Mia, sweetheart, you're going to be a big sister.
A baby? Can I hold her?
Of course, big sister.
Mia beams. She doesn't know yet that this promise will be the first one they break. In the months that followed, something quiet grew in the house alongside Sarah's belly. Mia was watching. She watched as the nursery was decorated next to Sarah and David's room, not next to hers. She watched as bedtime stories got shorter, then stopped altogether. She told herself it was okay. Babies needed a lot of attention. She'd read that somewhere. She just didn't expect the baby to need all of it. The baby was healthy, beautiful. Sarah and David were besotted in a way that was hard to describe. This was the child they had played for, grieved for, given up hope on. And somehow, in the glow of that miracle, Mia became invisible. It happened gradually, the way most cruelties do. No more bedtime stories, no more park runs. The aide's hours were quietly reduced. When Mia brought home a drawing she'd made, all 4 of them, a family, Sarah glanced at it and set it on the counter without a word. At school, Mia's teacher noticed.
Mr. and Mrs. Davis, Mia's grades have dropped. She's withdrawn, she's not participating, and last week she cried in class and wouldn't tell us why. I'm concerned.
She's just adjusting to having a new sibling. She'll be fine.
All children go through this. It's normal.
They hang up. Neither of them looks at the other. The baby's first birthday arrived like a thunderclap of color and noise. Balloons, streamers, a 3-tiered cake. Mia was not given new clothes for the occasion. She watched the party from the doorway of her room, the room nobody had thought to decorate, as laughter and music floated through the house. Later that night, she asked Sarah a question.
Mummy, do you still love me?
Of course I do. Go to sleep, Mia.
She doesn't hug her. She doesn't look back as she leaves the room. A child can survive almost anything except the quiet certainty that she no longer matters. The baby got sick. A fever in the night that wouldn't break. Then something worse. Sarah and David poured everything into those hospital walls. Every prayer, every ounce of energy, every tear they had left. But the baby didn't make it.
Why? Why would God give her to us just to take her away?
They came home to a house that felt like a wound. The baby toys, the nursery, the little shoes by the door. And in the midst of all that grief, they remembered Mia. Suddenly, she was everything again. Bedtime stories returned. Outings resumed.
I'm so sorry, baby. We love you so much. You know that, right?
I know, Mummy.
Mia smiles, but her eyes are careful now. She has learned something no 8-year-old should have to learn. Love in this house is conditional. It comes and goes. It is not safe to lean on. She was right to be careful, because 3 months later, Sarah was pregnant again. Congratulations, it's twins! 2 babies, a double miracle, and a double erasure. Sarah's mother came to the house, saw the change already settling in, and spoke plainly.
Sarah, I'm watching what's happening. Don't make the same mistake again. Mia is your daughter. Don't forget that. I won't, Mom. Mama, I know what I'm doing. I hope so. Because that child has been through enough.
Her advice fell on ears that had already stopped listening. Mia's school was changed to a cheaper one. The twins attended the best institution money could buy. Mia's aide was dismissed without notice, and the treatment shifted from neglect into something uglier. Sarah, once tender, once patient, became sharp and cold. A dropped cup and a shout, a slow morning and a slap. David, who had once crouched to Mia's eye level to ask if he could be her family, now walked past her like she was furniture.
I try to be good. I try to be so good.
Said to no one, because there was no one left to hear. The worst was still coming. The maid had to travel to her village. Her mother was sick. She packed a small bag, looked at Mia, and hesitated.
Ma, what about Mia? Who will take care of her while I'm away? Don't worry about it. She'll be fine.
She was not fine. Because while the maid was gone, Sarah and David took the twins on vacation. A resort. A week in the sun. They packed bags, kissed each other, laughed about the drive ahead, and left. They did not make arrangements for Mia. They did not hire a replacement. They did not ask a neighbor. They did not call anyone. They left an 8-year-old girl with a physical disability, alone in a house, with some bottled water and a packet of biscuits the maid had quietly left on the counter before she went. Day 1, she managed. Day 2, the water was almost gone. Day 3, she couldn't reach the kitchen anymore. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. She was too weak to call out. Mia sits in the center of her room, still. Light moves slowly across the wall. She is very small. The house around her is very quiet. Nobody came. She had been left to die, and nobody in that house had even noticed she was gone.
When the maid returned a week later, she knew something was terribly wrong the moment she stepped through the door. She found Mia in her room. I will not describe in detail what she found. What I will say is that the maid, a woman who earned little and owned less, sat on the floor next to that wheelchair and wept. And then she acted. I've got you. I've got you. I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. She called an ambulance. She stayed through everything. When the hospital asked about the parents, she called Sarah and David. Sarah answers the phone. Resort music in the background, laughter, poolside. Ma, Mia is in the hospital. She almost died. They are saying dehydration, malnutrition. She'll be fine. Keep us updated. The call ends. A pause. Then Sarah orders another drink. At the hospital, the maid had no money to cover the bills. Desperate, she called the adoption agency that had placed Mia. The agency sent a representative that same afternoon. And when that representative walked into the hospital room and saw Mia, the bright, cheerful little girl they had placed with such hope, she didn't speak for a long time. We placed her with a family. We thought she would be loved. She turns away.
and begins making calls, legal calls.
Sarah and David came home to a court order. The adoption agency had filed charges of criminal neglect. The evidence was overwhelming. Medical records, witness testimony, photographs. Mia was removed from their custody permanently. They were fined a sum that would take years to repay, but their minds were already somewhere else. The twins' birthday is next week. We need to start planning. I know, I was thinking the garden venue. The twins' birthday party was the biggest event in their social circle that year. Featured on local news, shared across the internet, gold balloons, a live band, a custom cake. Everyone said it was extraordinary. They went to bed that night full of champagne and satisfaction. In the morning, Sarah went to wake the twins for breakfast. She opens the door, steps inside, stops. The room is perfectly still. The twins lie in their beds, peaceful as if sleeping, but they are not sleeping. Sarah! David! David rushes in. He drops to his knees. They were rushed to the hospital. The doctors walked, but it was already too late. Both children were gone. No explanation, no warning, no cause the doctors could find. 2 miracles gone in a single night. Social media erupted. Theories, accusations, speculation. Some called it karma. Some called it tragedy. Some called it both. Sarah's mother, I warned you what would happen if you threw that child away. Sarah says nothing. She is already somewhere else inside herself. David tried to pull her back. Therapy, prayer, time. Nothing reached her. She spiraled into a grief so total that she lost herself entirely. And David was left alone in a beautiful house that echoed. Some losses cannot be recovered from because they were earned.
Mia healed slowly. Her new family was not wealthy. They did not have a grand house or a large garden, but they had something Sarah and David never truly gave her: consistency, presence, the ordinary radical act of showing up. They sat with her through nightmares. They learned her aid routine until it became their own. They never treated her disability as an inconvenience, only as one part of a whole remarkable child. Mia went to therapy and cried through sessions that over time started to feel less like excavating wounds and more like planting things. She started drawing again. One afternoon, her new mother asked what she was drawing. Mia, a family, my family. She holds it up, 4 figures, one in a wheelchair, arms wide open. She was 9 years old. She had already survived more than most people carry in a lifetime. And still, she drew herself with her arms open. As for Sarah and David, they were left with each other, and a silence neither of them knew how to fill. Their wealth remained, their reputation recovered in time, but the house felt like a museum of everything they had chosen wrong. Sarah sits alone by the window. In her hands, a single photo. Mia at the park, arms stretched wide, laughing, as David pushes her wheelchair through a drift of autumn leaves. Somewhere along the way, they had looked at the miracle in front of them, a child who loved unconditionally, who asked for nothing but to be seen, and decided it wasn't enough. They had chased something they thought they were owed, and in losing everything, they finally understood. Mia was never the child they settled for. She was the miracle they had been given, and they threw her away. If this story moved you,
if it reminded you to cherish the people already in your life, to look at what you have instead of what you are waiting for, then this story did exactly what it was meant to do. Drop a comment below. Tell me, did Sarah and David deserve redemption? Or was it too late the moment they drove away? If you want a part 2, where we follow Mia into adulthood and one final devastating intersection with the people who left her behind, let me know in the comments. Until we meet again, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Take care of the people who need you, and never, never mistake ordinary love for something less than a miracle.